Thank you, President. My question is for the Minister for Agriculture. Cage, barn and even free-range egg producers are deliberately causing stress to hens to induce what is known to the industry as forced moulting. The process involves severely limiting food and water and deprivation of sunlight for up to 3 weeks. Forced moulting intentionally deprives hens of essential nutrients and literally tricks them into thinking it's winter, when food availability would naturally be scarce. It shocks them into losing their feathers and, in the interest of farmers, laying more eggs. This process is repeated again and again without a day of reprieve. The consumer demand for eggs all year round means factory farms continue to exploit natural processes at the expense of welfare. It is entirely legal. Will the Minister ensure forced moulting is banned as part of the new animal welfare legislation in Victoria?
Minister.
And thank you, Ms Purcell, for your question. And I note that many of the questions that you raise with me are issues in terms of animal welfare, and essentially the answer is the same each time, regardless of the type of animal that you raise, and that is that essentially this government is absolutely concerned about animal welfare issues, and we've proven that in terms of budget allocations over the years, and indeed a whole range of other things as well, and you're well aware of that, Ms Purcell. The fact of the matter is that...
Order.
How much do you care about it?
Order.
Self-reflection.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, President. And so we're obviously incredibly concerned, and we are doing a number of things and have done a number of things in terms of animal welfare, something that other governments just haven't done. And indeed, the previous federal government walked away from animal welfare issues and disbanded the committee as well. And it was actually interesting to see in the most recent federal budget a commitment from a more grown-up federal government to see that they've made a commitment to have a much more dialogue in terms of animal welfare, but not only that, that they are looking at legislation. So we're looking forward to having that dialogue with the federal government. Of course, we're also wanting to have, as much as we can, commonality across all the jurisdictions, whether it be states, the Commonwealth and indeed the territories, and we will continue to do that. And as you are well aware, we are also undertaking a range of consultations in relation to new animal welfare legislation. And there will be an exposure draft that will be circulated later on this year, and we will continue to have that conversation that will lead us to a more modernised animal welfare laws in this country, or in this state rather, and we're very much wanting to have conversations with everyone. And we also need to make sure that we get it right in terms of animal welfare issues that are obviously put forward by a number of community groups, but we need to balance that with food production, and we need to listen to our farmers as well, because most of them actually do treat their animals really well because they know it's important, and they know it's important not just for the values associated with the care of animals, but it's also important in terms of market and consumers. Consumers are becoming more educated about the importance of having eaten produce that has been treated well. So we look forward to the conversations and the ongoing work that we are undertaking.
Ms Purcell with a supplementary question.
Thank you, President, and thank you, Minister, for your response. Chickens bred for meat are genetically selected for increased appetite and consistently overfed until their breast meat muscle is so large they can barely stand or walk. The process is designed to happen so quickly that the industry risks birds dying from stress or organ failure before their breeding or slaughter date. To compensate, parent birds are starved once they reach their goal weight in the last weeks of their lives. An independent review into farmed bird welfare found that chickens being denied food is particularly cruel when it is the very thing that they have been genetically bred to do. Can the Minister advise if broilers continue to be starved in Victoria following the Victorian Government farmed birds welfare review?
Minister.
Thank you, President. Again, I thank Ms Purcell for her supplementary question and her care and concern in relation to meat chickens in this case. Can I indicate to her, and I'm sure she absolutely knows this, that force feeding is prohibited in this state. Again, I would ask her if she has if she believes it is happening, then I would ask her to actually report it so that there can be an investigation from Prime Safe.